Welcome everyone. We thank you, ma'am, for joining us today on a weekend. Ms. Geetika Bange is lead PR and corporate communications at Philips, with over 17 plus years of experience across companies like General Motors, Canon India, and GE Capital. She has relentlessly, just a minute, ma'am, I'm admitting this students. She has relentlessly contributed to building compelling brand imagery through excellent communication strategies. And she has definitely one of the best we have to offer for her rich and prolific experience in the realm of public relations and corporate communications. Today, she will be sharing with us the insights on how we can build brands through the PR. And thank you once again, ma'am. A big thank you to Ujjwal too. So to have expert on her. So it means a lot to her, and we we take little steps toward making experts like her accessible. So, ma'am, you can take over now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prakhar. I hope I'm audible to everyone here.
Yes, ma'am, you are.
And thank you. So, very good evening, everyone. And it is indeed my pleasure to be a part of this wonderful forum expert and meeting all you enthusiasts who are who are aspiring, I would say, to become a part of this wonderful, crazy world of PR, or I should say, very hyperactive and never sleeping world of brands and PR. Trust me, it's an amazing world out here. So finally, we embraced the new year and with the new normal. And trust me, most of us are now already in sync with this word normal with a capital N. Undoubtedly, last year, 2020 was indeed one of the most difficult, challenging, unprecedented, and one of the most unpredictable years in the human calendar, I would like to put it across. But if you look at the brighter side of it, we as humans, we turned all the challenges into our opportunities, and that too, be it of any kind. There has been a paradigm shift in all realms of life, be it any sector, be it any business, be it any industry. And in fact, I would like to say there has been a drastic change, especially in the ways that we have been operating since last so many years now. And of course, the world of communication, the world of PR has not been left untouched, or I would say has not been left unaffected. Let me ask you a very basic question here. Uh, I mean, we are discussing something very interesting today here is that how PR helps in building a brand imagery. A very basic question for you, my friends here today. What do you understand by PR? Anyone would like to, just unmute yourself and just say whatever you feel. What do you understand by PR? 10 seconds. Prakhar, can my friends unmute themselves and just
Yes,
say
ma'am, they
whatever they
can.
want
Yes,
to?
ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, guys.
okay. So anyone would like to say what you understand by
Evening.
PR? What?
Good evening, ma'am.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah,
Tell me.
ma'am. By PR, we generally refer to the image of the brand that is in front of the public.
Okay, all
That is
right.
my interpretation of PR. Yeah.
Good. That's a nice one. Okay. So if I take two words together, P and R, perfect relations, public relations, professional relations, press release. That's the most funniest part, but that's actually the truth. And well, if I put them all together, it means the same thing. It is a connect between you, your audience, through a communication platform. It's that simple. That's PR. That's the most basic definition one can ever understand in a layman language. I would like to take it one notch above. For me, PR is persuasive business. P for persuasion, because you are trying to convince your audience, you're trying to convince your customer, your consumer, for what? To promote your product, to promote your idea, or even Recognize your own accomplishments. If you're doing self-branding, if you're doing self-PR for yourself, if you are a freelancer, you're not associated with an organization. So obviously, you also want to share your accomplishments, your good work. You would like to share that with your audience, with your consumers. And you would like them to have a perception about you. That's what you call PR. It's all a persuasion to have that perception and experience that you would like to give to your audience or your consumer. It's all about sharing and spreading that positive information about yourself, about your organization, to establish that positive idea and that positive imagery that will work well for you as an individual or for your organization for whom you're working for. That's as simple as that. Okay, we understood that what is P and R. Why do you need PR? My second question. Why do we need PR in the first place? Anyone would like to take a guess on this? What do you feel if you hear that, okay, I'm working for an organization? Why does an organization need a PR? Why do you need it in the very first place? Anyone can take a guess. 10 seconds.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is
Hi.
Resham.
Hi, Resham.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Tell me.
Yes, ma'am. I think a company or an organization, PR is a support for them to increase their visibility and generate more leads, to increase their business and to create a positive, like you said, the positive image in front of the customers.
Absolutely right, Resham. And that we will come to that later. But the very first thing, that why do you need PR, whether it is for yourself or whether it is for your organization, I would like to put it in 3 words here. First of all, definitely, Resham, as you said, that it is a very important tool, first of all, for any brand to have your presence felt in the industry that you are operating in. Until unless you get your presence feel in the industry or that ecosystem that you are operating in, no one will ever come to know that who you are. And PR is that tool which helps you. And if you have really a good PR with you, it can help you achieve the top 3 important things which is imperative for any brand to sustain. And that is the first step when you say that PR is very important for a brand building. And those 3 things are IIT for a brand. I call it IIT for a brand. Relax, it's not the Indian Institute of Technology. No, it's not. So IIT means I for identity, I for an interest, and T is for trust. So it's identity, interest, and trust. So that's IIT. Now, how do you do with PR? The first most important thing is that you need to develop a brand identity. People or your consumer or your audience, you guys are also consumers. You also keep on buying products. I'm sure you would also have, or you would also trust a well-established brand in comparison if there is a new brand which is coming up, right? I'm sure most of you guys will agree with me here. And trusted brands like Dabur, Tata's, and the Reliances of India, or the Aditya Birla's group of the India. So it's like you trust them because their strong PR strategy over last so many years has been able to generate that brand identity and customer recognition. I'll give you a very simple example here. The Tata's group. The Tata's group, they are of course known for their plethora of businesses and plethora of products that they deal into. But there's one thing that is primarily associated with Tata, and that is that Tata invests and takes care of its people. The the staff and the employees who work for Tata, they are valued so much that on an average in the Tata's group, people do not leave the Tata group until unless the average work span is there for 10 to 15 years. So that's their vision statement that they look at. And Tata's is actually known for that because that's the credibility and that's the vision, that's the identity that they have created over last so many years. And that too, just with pure PR, creating their own employees as brand evangelists for them, who go out and spread a positive word of mouth for their own brand. And that's how Tata's has been working. This is like a perfect example that, of a brand identity, one can say that. Secondly, if I come, okay, that's about people. That's on the lighter, that's on the soft skills that I would say, on the softer part of any brand. How would a brand would like to be seen in front of the audience? What is the product or a service that brand is giving? How does your brand make you different from the other brands in the market? What is that one different thing that you are bringing on table for your brand, which other brands cannot? Why should the customer be interested in buying your product out of that huge range of plethora of products present out in the market? So you got to decide for yourself that how your PR will create that identity for your brand. Second, the second I is consumer interest. PR helps you the best to generate consumer interest. It helps in creating awareness. It helps in educating your customer or your audience. And in the end, it definitely adds up to drive those sales for your brand. PR actually helps to set that narrative about creating that brand buzz in the market and have those people following that brand. The third one is trust. Trust is the most important part when it comes to handling your consumers or when it comes to handling your audiences. A good PR can always help to create and develop very long-term, valuable, and brand evangelist consumer relationships. It's like the trust that you have with PR, once the trust has been built in your brand, believe me, it takes a lot of time to break that trust. Consumers, or your audience, they typically want to do business with the brands that they trust. And one of the most important and the latest part of it is creating those personalized relationships with your consumer through personalized PR, or I would say customized PR. It is a bang on strategy on any kind of brand building PR strategy that you do, because this can help you build up brand recognition, add to credibility, and also further on add to the trust of your consumers with you so that they stick to your brand for years and years and don't even lose it. Now, apart from this, there are few other things that I feel that are very important that PR can do to help, be it a new brand or be it already established brand. Now, consumers today are very intelligent, very, very intelligent. They are all very tech savvy. They know that what is happening around them. And the shift in this entire consumer behavior has been driven by the consumers themselves. Any kind of paid news, fake news, consumer catches them like this just at the blink of an eye. The consumer knows it, whether it's a paid one, it's an unpaid one, it's an earned one. Is it just an advertisement? अरे ये advertisement तो बहुत देखा है. And I'm sure even you guys must be going through that now most of the consumers around you, and whenever you're scrolling on your phone, when you get these Google ads and all, most of the consumers have now started to wash off those ads now. They don't even want to engage in those ads anymore because they all know that these are paid. Reviews are paid. But it's a part of the PR strategy. It is there. So you got to decide for yourself as a brand that how would you want your brand to be known as? Whether you want it to be known as that you have generated the credibility through earned media, which is pure PR, wherein a third party, be it a very recognized journalist, a very veteran expert, or an industry expert, is actually writing good for your brand. That's what you call earned PR. That's what you call earned media. Finally, there's one thing in the same context that the and how do you establish that PR connect with your audience? You have to be very careful in this. Right now, the time is for content. Content is the king. And over and above that, personalized and customized content, which you know that your consumer wants to read it or what your consumer wants to see it. Developing that kind of content to reach that right audience through the right platform and at the right time. That's what you call successful PR. Or that I would say NPR. NPR is the new PR, the new age PR, wherein you are just not concentrating, okay, I've got this product, I'll have a nice press release about it. I'm going to go and give it to the journalists and they are just going to put it up in the trades or they're just going to put it up or flash it online on their portals. No, that doesn't work anymore. It does not work anymore on, especially in this kind of a world where you already have so many, plethora of social media explosions happening every day. Every news is available within seconds on your phone, on your internet, and you're there, you're connected with the world. And say, take an example, very simple example. 3 earthquakes happened parallelly, or I would say one by one. It was not parallelly, one by one, it happened last night. I'm sure many of you must have experienced it, right? And NDTV flashed the news exactly in 2 minutes. It was there. So that's the power. So everyone is connected through the social media. So you have to be very, very careful, be cognizant of the kind of content that you are generating, that personalized content that you are doing through PR for your brand. Very important. Second, another important thing which I feel is that you got to be very social. You cannot be that, okay, my brand, for example, I feel that, okay, I have a startup and my brand is only catering to very niche audience. It's a premium brand and it only caters to very niche segment of the audience. I would not like to go out and have a more connect over masses, or I will keep it a very low profile on social media, and I would like to only generate PR only through my contacts that I already have in the industry circle. Huge mistake. Never ever do that. Whenever you are planning to build up a PR for your brand to be known out in the market, social media has to be a very big part of your PR conversations. It cannot be left out. Your PR strategy is incomplete without any kind of social or digital media strategy, digital social strategy, if you have to work on building that positive imagery for your brand. For any brands who would like to build up their reputation and also create and maintain a strong community of followers, or I would like to put it across a new word for them, influencers. Bloggers word is now slightly outdated. So it's called community influencers. The more and more you go out on social and create that influencer community for your brand, it is a very big push. It acts as a very big catalyst to uplift your brand imagery out in that whole industry where you are, or that ecosystem that you are operating into. Now, social media platforms, you all guys are aware of Facebooks of the world, Twitters, LinkedIn, Instagrams. They are all valuable right now. But sometimes it does happen that brands do not get enough time to, primarily focus on each and every channel. So the best thing to do here is pick up or be selective in picking up your channels, wherein you feel that where does your target audience lie the most? If you feel that for your product or for your service, Insta works the best because you have like young kids who are the target audience for your particular product or your brand, pick up Insta. Leave out the Twitters and the LinkedIns of the world because you do not get that right TG on those platforms. Create conversations on Instagrams. Have that consistent, continuous engagement. That's called CCE for me. Consistent and continuous engagement with your consumer. That's very, very important. It helps in building up your brand image. It helps in building up that positive, that credibility for your brand, because consumer starts trusting you because you are constantly conversing with the consumer. You are not leaving your consumer aside. So that is very important to have that rapport with your consumer. And as I mentioned, influencers. Yes, it is very important to build up that influencer engagement with your for your particular brand. You need to have people who can influence. That's the why name comes up as influencers, who can actually influence people around them with whom they interact, spread a positive word of mouth, talk about and recommend your brand, because those influencers have already created a base for themselves in the industry or whatever space that they are operating into, and people, consumers, they trust them. Brands should always use influencers as a tab on, always. That's one of the very important points that I would like to highlight in today's uh, whenever we are doing a brand building exercise and PR comes into place there. There's one more thing that also I would like to reiterate here. It is whenever, okay, now we understood that, okay, we want to have influencers, we are wanting to have the right kind of platforms where we would like to engage with our consumers. Before that, there are very small requirements which, when as PR professionals, when you are planning to have that brand building exercise for the brand that you're working for, 2-3 things that I would like to highlight here. First of all, you need to ask yourself as a PR professional, do you really know your audience? Even before you are considering building that brand strategy for yourself and for the brand, and the PR team is working on that on full blow, and you got to be very, very careful. You have to identify and discover your target audience. Without that, whatever PR strategy that you create, it goes in vain. Because when you have not hit your right TG, the message is all over the place. It's all over the place. So ultimately, your main audience will consist of that number of different groups. It could be your partners, it could be your employees, it could be your customers, it could be your industry analysts, be it anyone. Identify who is your audience. Do you really know them? And once you have known them, keep a very focused approach towards them. It's very important for that. Second, be very clear about your business goals that you want to achieve. You have to be very focused. You have to be very focused. You know that, what do you want from business and where you actually want to go and what are those achieving targets or hitting that bull's eye, and you've already set that for yourself. But when you are going, you never know that, am I taking the right path? Are these business goals in line, or whatever goals that I have set for myself, are they in line with the PR strategy that I am doing? So you just got to take that stop there and analyze those things. Both your business goals and your PR goals, they have to work hand in hand. They cannot be apart. Otherwise, you will never be able to achieve what the brand imagery that you are aiming for or what you're wanting to achieve. It won't happen. You got to marry these two, your business goals and your PR goals. After that, okay, we've spoken about this. Of course, the PR world it's like out there in terms of the roles are changing in terms of PR on a daily basis. And of course, there are many things that come up uh, wherein there are new brands, there are new startups coming, there are already established brands. So there's this whole whole jungle out there, and PR has evolved significantly over the last 10 years. Trust me, significantly over the last 10 years. And I'll give you, something very interesting I would like to share with all of you here. So what happened was that you would, I don't know if how many of you would know that, but many historians, there has been some very close research around it, and it was found that the Publicity Bureau, this was the name of the first official PR company that came into picture in 1900. So can you imagine? It was almost 100 years back, more than 100 years back. And it started as, as the start of the modern public relations profession, and it happened in the US, in United States. I don't remember the exact place there. And this was the firm which was created in 1900. And very interestingly, it was started by 3 newspaper men. They used to go door to door, and they used to, throw those newspapers there. And then these PR outlets, they consisted, at that time, it was only printed media and few radio stations. So to get your stories out to the public, all these PR firms, of course, after this PR firm, all this began, and there were a lot of PR firms which came up like mushrooms here and there. And they were just relying on sending postal mail to each other and some telephone access. That's it. And of course, the news was very slow and very limited. Then came the TV, the television, where again, it pulled up the spreading of the news by almost 3 to 4 notches above. CNN was the first 24/7 news hour channel that was launched in 1980, way back. And then came the or the intranet era, which changed almost everything in the way that we communicated. And then came the biggest Hiroshima or Nagasaki explosion, that I would say. That was the social media explosion that happened in 2000, 20 years back, which brought, some significant technological advancements, changes. There were humongous changes in the way our society started operating. There was collective consciousness and alternative ways to do the business. So all this put together have added some or the other way in terms of getting that brand imagery up in that ecosystem that you are living in. So that's, I guess, from my side. And I guess, Prakhar?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so we are opening
yeah.
for the questions.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yes, Ashwi. Yes, Ashwi, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yashvi, you are not audible. Please type in the chat box if you are okay with it. Yeah. Okay, guys. So we are opening for the questions. If anyone wants to answer.
I think, Prakhar, what we can do is, I think I had a couple of questions which were shared in advance, right? From
Yes,
some of
yes,
you.
yeah, ma'am. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think in the meanwhile, when the rest of my friends are absorbing, I hope that was not too much of a gyan session today.
No, no, no.
So, so in the meanwhile, you guys can come up with, you can decide your questions. So I would like to pick up, one or two questions which were already shared, which you guys had, shared it in advance. So is that okay, Prakhar, if we
Yes,
pick up
yes,
those
yes, ma'am. Yeah,
questions?
sure. Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. So I do not know who has written this question, but I'll just pick it up as anonymously. One of the questions I got was that how a company responds to a crisis and what steps do they take? And someone had, and the same person had given an example of the Samsung phones when they started exploding. And that was that brand Samsung Note 7, Note 7, if I'm not
Samsung
wrong.
has Note. Yes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And but people, consumers continued buying Samsung. So how do you handle that situation? So I think that was the question. So very interesting question. And because PR is synonymous to crisis, guys, it is synonymous to crisis. So if you are wanting to be, if you're aspiring to be in the world of PR, so please start breathing in that space that crisis is bound to come, and it will not knock your door and come, it will just straight come in. So yes, Samsung phones, I do not know how many of you know the story of what exactly went behind that Samsung crisis. I'll give you a very brief synopsis of that because it was quite an interesting one. So what happened, I think it was in 2017. Yes, in 2007 or 2016, if I'm not wrong. 2016, what happened when Samsung launched this Note 7, and they had this amazingly positive reviews, and the phone was an absolute quick hit with the consumers, and people were like buying in bulks and bulks, and they even got on shortage of the product, on short, there was a shortage of the production of the units. It became a huge rave. And then suddenly, it was, I think, somewhere around in the middle of 2016. Suddenly, the news started coming in, and wherein that there were numerous reports that the battery has started burning. It causes fire, and it showed charred remains. It was all charred. The battery was all charred, and I mean, Samsung was like struck with a PR nightmare, absolute PR nightmare. And everywhere it went on social media, traditional media was covering it everywhere in all the countries where this phone was launched. And it became actually a technical challenge for all that engineer base in Samsung to identify that what was the root cause. Samsung was just not able to understand that. And the phone was banned. I still remember at that time, many of the airlines also said that whoever has that phone, Samsung S7, they would not allow people to get onto the get onto the airplane. They were not allowed to board the flight, because they said that we will not allow you. And what was the impact? I mean, Samsung was, the share market was down, Samsung prices dropped down, profits broke in quarter 3. So huge chaos that happened, huge chaos. So Samsung was in a huge crisis. What did Samsung do? Samsung immediately, it implemented a large scale recall of those faulty Note 7 handphones. Parallelly, they were also carrying out extensive testing, and because obviously they had to come out with the root cause of the issue, what was the problem. And then it was like, the message by this action, or this reactive action that they took place at that Samsung as an organization they took, it demonstrated that, Samsung really cares for their customers, and they are very much, uh, you know, uh, they are wanting to keep up to the safety of their customers, and they had a huge recall. They even went ahead and they said that, whoever customer's phone has been charged, they gave replacement handsets to all those customers. And actually, it happened. They did that. It was not just that we are just promising and they did not keep up to their promise. They did that. And they also said that they did not issue any statements. That was one thing wrong that they did. And they assured all their consumers that we are there, we care for your safety, and we would be replacing those faulty handsets, and they are safer to use. The story did not end here. When these consumers, when they were given that faulty heads, when they were given new handsets, same issue resurfaced. There were again, in some of the handsets, explosions happened. The batteries were charred. And that came the second worst nightmare for Samsung as a brand, which was absolutely embarrassing for them, because for Samsung as such a well-established, trusted, and a credible brand, it had to face that embarrassment again for the second time. As a result, they called off, or they recalled the faulty Note 7s, and they had to withdraw the Note 7 completely from the market for sale. Note 7 was out of the market, I think, by the end of 2016. Yes, 2016 or beginning of 2017, it was absolutely out of the market. It was totally washed off. So at that time, when the second recall happened, then Samsung was questioned. Why did it happen? At that time, then Samsung came up, and they held this huge conference that they did, wherein they released some of the facts which hinted. Of course, at that time they said that the battery was bad and it was causing the fire, and they even submitted reports to the media, which their engineers had come up, and these engineers had identified the root cause and everything. So the crux of this entire story was, first, Samsung, of course, they did take a proactive approach, I would say, that because the moment that they knew that this problem has occurred, they recalled their handsets. The mistake at that time that they did was, they did not issue any kind of a public statement. They did not. Second embarrassment happened. Then it struck, then it struck to an iceberg kind of a situation, that, okay, this is now really blown up hard. This is really blown up big now. Then they went to the root cause analysis. However, the second good thing that they did was that they were very honest, and they gave a very transparent picture of the problem that they saw in the handsets, and what was the solution to it. So what happened that even though, so answering to the second part of the question that whoever had submitted that question, that the second part was that even when all this happened, why people still are buying Samsung? The only reason for that is transparency and honesty. If the brand is transparent and honest in your communication, and that too in constant communication with your consumer, that is the biggest key to handle any kind of brand crisis for you. Communicate, communicate, and communicate consistently with your consumer when any of these kind of crisis situation comes up. And the first thumb rule of any kind of crisis, be it with Samsung, be it with Facebook, be it with Uber, anything, communicate honestly with transparency with your consumer, which in turn always helps in bringing back your credibility, and chances of losing the consumer trust are very low. The brand actually wins half of the battle there. Half of the battle is won there. Always keep a proactive approach. Never ever keep a reactive approach. Never. And one of another very important things to be highlighted here: never ever give a defensive response. Defensive responses are taken very badly by the consumer and they always backfire. And it can actually lead to a very big damage and a permanent hole in the brand reputation, which can take years for building that up, and even has costed people their jobs for that. So that's how one can handle, the brands can handle crisis. So I hope I have been able to answer that question, whoever had submitted that this particular question on crisis.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for answering.
Okay, sorry. You were the one who submitted. Can I have your name?
Anisha, ma'am.
Anisha. So okay, so Anisha, I hope I have been able to answer your question. So in case you have anything more, please feel free to ask me.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay, then I have this another question here. It was something like, Prakhar, please help me. Okay, yeah. Someone had asked me a question, how to pursue a career in PR. And if I see someone else has also asked here, okay, Aman is there, right? So you have mentioned a question here. What do you wish you would have known before starting your career in PR? Sorry, Aman, I couldn't get that question. In what exactly context are you asking this? If you could please be more clear.
Hello, am I
Yeah,
audible?
Yes.
As in skills and the more information about the topics that would have helped you to be a great PR professional in the beginning of your career.
Okay. Okay. So Aman, I will answer this question first for you, and then probably the second question is in link with the same, that how to pursue a career in PR. Aman, actually, PR happened to me in serendipity. It was by luck. And it was like, in terms of as a personality, whenever you have to choose your profession, you have to be very cognizant and be very careful of few things, that you have to sit down and you have to be very focused while you are doing your own personal analysis. The first most important thing is that you need to look for those personal traits. Why do you want to do this? And in fact, the perfect example I would like to give here and give a context here is, I'm sure, have you guys heard, or I'm sure kahin photo zarur dekha hoga, the Apple Golden Circle. Have you guys seen that? The Apple Golden Circle. So how does it look like is that it has 3 circles, and it's called the Golden Circle of Communications, or I would say it's called the Golden Circle of Marketing, which says right in the center or at the core, you always need to start whatever you're doing in life is with a why, which is further followed by a how, and then ended up with a what. So it's WHW, the golden circle. So it's why, it's how, and what. So always, whatever you want to do, or whatever, if you are looking at pursuing a career, whether it is in PR, whether it is in marketing, whether it is in finance, whether it is in any realm of your life, you got to answer this very simple question for yourself. Why do I want to do it? Why do you want to work in PR? Do you have those traits that, why do you want to go in PR? Like I can give my example here. As a person right from the beginning, as a personality, as I mentioned, that it is very important to understand your personality traits. As a person, I always had this thing of believing in content. I used to write. I used to, have that bent of having story writing kind of, bent of mind. And I love communicating and I love networking. So that is one thing, and it came very naturally to me. So that was the reason which pushed me and got my head cleared that, okay, this is one of the professions, or this is the profession that I would like to choose up and make a career out of in this particular area for myself. So there is one very important thing that you need to do is, whenever you are thinking about pursuing a career, whatever personality traits that you have within you, you have to see that they need to marry your professional attributes as well. So, for example, if you want to pursue a career in PR, I'm just giving an example, it could be anything. So, the biggest attribute, or the one of the most important attributes for any PR professional is you have to have very good listening skills, and then putting them into a conversation, right? So if you feel that as a personality, you are good at conversing, you are a good listener, and you are able to put these things together, marry these two things together, these two traits together, you would make a perfect PR professional, trust me. So just begin by asking yourself, why do I want to do this? That's very important. I know, I mean, in this fast paced world, we do not have the time to sit and think back and, okay, do I really have the time? और जब तक आप ये सोचते हो तब तक एप्लीकेशन भरने की डेट ही निकल जाती है. So it happens most of the time. But it's very important. It's very important. Always begin with a why. And in fact, I would like to recommend a very interesting book for all my friends who are listening to me here. This is a book by Simon Sinek. If you want, you can note it down, or I can even write it in the chat. It's a book by Simon Sinek, and it's called Start with a Why. It's a beautiful book, and I'm sure, and I would like to recommend this book to all of you guys here. That will help you to understand what exactly you're wanting, then move to the next step, that how am I going to do it? Now, of course, how is, if you're wanting a career in marketing, which is a good business school that I would like to pick up, which are some of the good courses that I would like to engage into, enroll myself into, and what are the if I do this kind of a degree course, So how is it going to help me further in building up my career? What exactly I am wanting to do in any PR oriented role? Am I more inclined towards content writing? Then I need to look for a similar or look for that kind of a course which would help me to brush up my content writing skills. Or do I like networking more? So if I like networking more, then I need to look for those kind of setups which will help me network and know people more about them. So you got to decide for yourself. So that would be my answer to Aman and the other person who's asked this question about pursuing a career in PR. So I hope, Aman, I have been able to solve your question or give that answer.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Most welcome.
Okay, ma'am, can I ask a question to you?
Please, please, please.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, Prakhar, I can hear you.
Okay,
Please go ahead.
okay, yeah. So, how do you design the campaigns for the failed products?
How do you design campaigns for?
Failed products. Like if
Ah,
we get the product fails, then how we design the campaign for that?
that's a very interesting one. And because when you see that, okay, I would like to give this answer in two pieces. When you are working for a brand and you see and you and your team are enthusiastic that, okay, this is one product that's going to absolutely work wonders for my brand, you go out with that full-blown social media strategy and PR strategy, marketing strategy, everything in full blow, all with the mindset that yes, this product is going to be big hit for my brand and it will generate revenue for me at the end of the day, because obviously I'm looking for sales. I need money to run the company. Unfortunately, that brand falls down, unfortunately. And then you go back on the blueprint table, what went wrong? Because obviously it was all a team effort. It was all a team effort. Your all the whole days and nights and months have gone into building up that particular brand, that product strategy, wherein you had to launch that, but it failed somehow. You come back, you try and find those reasons with the team that what happened, and then somewhere down the line you come to know that, okay, we'll have to put it on hold for a while. However, after some time, and it has happened with brands in the past also, wherein a brand, if you are wanting to build up an already failed brand, one of the most important things that you need to do is that you've got to go back to that failure history first of all to find out, did you actually go to the right TG? Because this is one of the most hidden uh, reasons for the failure. It has been observed, wherein you thought that your product was okay. I'll give you a very simple example that might help you to make it understand better. For example, you were wanting to launch a new chocolate, hmm? And this chocolate had these a little bit of dark chocolate flavor in that, and you were all happy, go gaga about that I'm going to go ahead and launch that chocolate in a big blow. You went ahead, you launched that chocolate as a mass chocolate flavor and with the tinge of that dark chocolate in it, and wherein you thought that it's going to be a big hit. However, after a month, you saw, not even after a month, after 20 days, you realized that the product is not picking up. The main problem here was the TG was not well defined. And why? Because dark chocolate lovers in India are still a very niche segment. We Indians, we still like that milky sweet flavor of the chocolate. I'm sure most of you will agree with me. I mean, no offenses to the
Yes,
dark chocolate
yeah,
lovers
yes,
here.
ma'am, yeah.
No offenses to them, please. So, but most of the researchers have still said, and they have proved that more than half of the India population, they don't have that that taste bud for dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is still considered as more of a European chocolate flavor and not an Indian chocolate flavor.
Yes, ma'am, yeah, I
We
truly agree.
Indians
Yes.
still like कि वो मीठा वाला कैडबरी ही बहुत अच्छा लगता है सबको, वो चाहे 5 स्टार हो या चाहे वो सिल्क हो. That's the latest one.
Silk, yeah,
So
probably, yes.
your TG. Yeah. So Prakhar, most of the times the biggest mistake happens is identifying your right TG. And when you identify and when you want to pull up your failed brand, go back, study, and relaunch your product with the right TG, using the right platforms. I'll give you another example here. For example, here, same met chocolate, I'm taking the same chocolate example. You identified that, okay, my TG is that dark chocolate lovers, and correct me if I'm wrong, that those dark chocolate lovers are still in that, those who are very nice, premium, and those who like classy products, right? Most of the Indians, they are categorized who are dark chocolate or those coffee lovers, premium coffee lovers. They have another separate segment.
Yes,
And
ma'am, yeah.
the right kind of platforms to reach out to them is not LinkedIn and Twitters, it's the Instagrams.
Instagram, yes, yeah.
Yeah. So
True.
defining the right TG and then choosing the right kind of platform is the first step towards regaining momentum or picking up your failed brand. That's how you do that. That's the basic thing that one should follow as a marketer, as a PR professional. Define your TG and define the right kind of platform. And then you
Mhm.
can hit the bullseye.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I
Thank you so
hope,
much.
Prakhar, I'm sure all my friends would have got that yummy taste of chocolate. So I'm sorry if I'm. I know it's evening time, Saturday, and Valentine's Day is around the corner. So all you guys must be
Yes, ma'am,
having a
yeah.
lovely time tomorrow. So happy chocolating, happy chocolate eating to all of you.
Same to you, ma'am.
Yes, please. Thank you. Yes. Any other question?
Good
Hello,
evening,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah. Hi. Hi. May I have your name, please?
Mayuri,
Hello.
Mayuri.
Ma'am, actually, there were two people speaking at the same time, so I paused.
Oh, okay. Yes, Mayuri. It's all
Yes,
yours.
ma'am. So my
Hmm.
name is Mayuri, and ma'am, actually, I want to thank you for the session. I loved the session very much. I loved the way you
Pleasure is
communicated
mine.
and expressed yourself, especially those examples like IIT, NPR, and CC. We were like, what's coming next? What's coming next? So I wanted to ask this question, like,
Yes.
how do you develop this art of storytelling? Like, we all know it's important for marketers as well as PRs, like, but
Yeah.
we don't know how to like practice it in our daily life and inculcate the art. Can you please explain with an example like you did with an example of chocolate? Like most of these products
Hmm.
uh, naturally don't have a story around it, but we have to build a story around it. No, how do you do that?
Yes.
How do we do that?
Okay. So Mayuri, thank you so much, first of all, for the appreciation. Thanks a lot. I'm glad that you liked it. And coming to storytelling, Mayuri, today's world is all about storytelling. You are in any profession, especially communications, whether it's PR, whether it is corporate communications, whether it is marketing, be it anything, it's all about storytelling. And you asked me a very specific question where you said that, how do you develop that? See, somewhere, Mayuri, I would say that storytelling bit, somewhere it is a personal trait that lies down in your personality or in your nature, Everyone has a little bit of storytelling art, I would say, somewhere down the line, little bit. The only thing is that you need to identify that, pick up that, and how do you do that? I'll give you a very, very secret mantra. बहुत ही secret है. But now I'm sure it's going to open to everyone. Read, read, and read. Readers are leaders, and leaders are readers. That's one mantra. Pick up, read whatever you like, Mayuri. रोज अगर आप Delhi Times का पेज 3 भी पढ़ोगे ना, read that up, mug that up daily. Read whatever you find your way, and try always to see or to grasp what kind of a storytelling has been done. I'll give you another example here. Okay. Now, okay, I'll give you a very nice example. I am just recalling, there was this very nice brand, there was this brand who had done a very beautiful campaign. Vicks. We all know Vicks, Vapor Up. So these guys came up with a very beautiful campaign, and they did, it was one of the perfect examples of a storytelling. Perfect examples. And what they did was, this campaign was, I think, about 3 years back, 3 or 4 years back. I don't remember the exact year. They came up with a video. And what that video was, it was a very simple story that the video said. There was this transgender, Gauri, and she still is there in some chawl in Mumbai. And this transgender, Gauri, she adopted a girl, an orphan from the roads, named her Gayatri. Sorry, I think there's some disturbance here.
No, ma'am, it's good.
Yeah. So she adopted Gauri adopted a little girl she found her on the roads, Gayatri. And she adopted that child. And there was a very sweet storytelling around it, that this transgender Gauri, she invests time in her. She brings up that little girl with all the love and affection, sends her to school. And then this girl goes to school, she studies hard, and she becomes one of the most brightest students in the school. So it's like the message, or that small storytelling, was done with a simple messaging that affection, love, and care does not need blood relations. Very simple statement by a brand named Vicks Vapor Up. And that's how they try to connect, that we as a brand, we are wanting to tell you this story by just saying that love and affection and care does not need blood relations. It can happen between anyone. And it's a very simple thing, Mayuri. You also, as an individual, you must be seeing so many things around you. Think and observe. Observe, think, and then try to put them down. Read more and more. It will help you to brush up your storytelling skills. Because if you are really looking for a good and a long career in PR, start with writing something for yourself. Be it anything. Read whatever you want. And guys, I really want to share a secret with you here. I am a movie buff. I love reading all those Viral Bhayanis and all those Zoom TVs and on the Facebook. I love reading them. But at the same time, I always try to pick up things. You have these little videos on Facebook, 7 most unexplored places on the earth, 7 most deadliest places on the earth. Do that fun reading, because these are the things which will help you to bring up more of your storytelling art, because these are the things that when you weave them together, you can actually come up with a story. So read, 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 and observe, and then write. That will really
Thank-
help you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome, Mayuri. And if you want, I can even suggest you some good books around it, which will help you. There's this wonderful book, I think it's called um, Readers Love to. It's something really nice book. In fact, Mayuri, I can send you the name. I can send. I'm just not getting it offhand right now. So it's a very simple book which just talks about why you should read. Why you should read. It's only to have that storytelling power. Only for that. Have that storytelling power. Pick up anything that you like. Try to have a story around it, and it will really help you. I
Thank you
hope
so much,
I've
ma'am.
been. You're most
Yes,
welcome.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. You answered it really well. Thank you so much, ma'am. You have a gorgeous smile, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayuri. Thank you. Thanks for the appreciation.
Hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. Hi.
My question is, how do you deal with fake news or political news that spread nowadays? Because we have seen in the case of Tanishq, an advertisement was launched and which means heavy backlash. How do you deal with certain issues like this?
May I have your good name, please?
Ujjwal Karkar.
Acha, Ujjwal. Okay. All right. Okay. So, guys, yes, Ujjwal has actually hit the right chord. So, yes, Tanishq's Ekatvam campaign. I'm sure everyone on this earth knew this campaign and what happened with that campaign. But trust me, it was absolutely a blown up political agenda that happened with this particular campaign. This campaign was a beautiful campaign wherein it showed diversity in it, that we as a country in India, we are strong we are extremely strong in terms of having diverse populations here. And all this can be married together. I'm sorry, guys, please don't mind the background sound. I have a 1-year-old nephew, so he's at his best right now. So, and what happened to that campaign was it was all into political scenarios. It was blown up by some unwanted elements in the political world and some here and there, which led Tanishq to pull off that advertisement, and even they had to go to the verge of issuing an apology. That was a public apology. We all know about it. It happened on the Facebook. When these kind of things happen, Ujjwal, when there are political interventions and all, one thing what I have observed in my so many years of experience, one should take a step back as a brand, because our country, that's my personal feeling, that's my personal opinion. Everyone has their own opinion around it. So when in our country, we are still a developing economy. We are not a developed nation like the US, wherein you have such, hardened and strict rules, and you get those millions and millions of if there is a court case, you get millions of compensations out there and all. That's not the case with our country at the moment. Sad, but I'm sure things are on the improving track, and they will definitely improve. In my personal opinion, if something of this thing happens to a brand, one should step back and not get too much involved into political or these diverse, wherein it takes political shape, not get into it. And I also feel that Tanishq at that time, I'm sure they would have thought about something like this, and their PR and Copcom teams, I'm sure they would have got a robust plan around it. And that's why they decided that they wanted to push back from this. Because then these are the things in a country like ours, sometimes they are taken in a very bad taste and it can lead to many more complications. And that's what I feel that Tanishq must have cited that problem. So in my personal view, I'm again reiterating, one should step back. That's a wise thing to do. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks, Ujjwal. Yes. Any more questions? I guess या तो सबको
And
conversation बहुत boring लगा.
no,
I
no,
mean,
no, no, ma'am, no.
just kidding, just kidding. Yes, please.
So I think we have the time is up. I think 1 hour, and we have received lots of questions, and you have answered it beautifully, ma'am.
Pleasure is
So
mine.
thank you,
I'm
thank you
glad
so
that
much.
I have been able to share my piece of knowledge, whatever I have in so many years, and I hope that I will be able to help you guys with whatever knowledge I have shared, and it helps you in bringing up a nice, and a focused approach towards your career if you're wanting to build it up in PR and marketing.
Yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Thank you so
Ma'am?
much, ma'am, for
Sorry?
yeah.
Yes, Ujjwal, go ahead. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your valuable experience with us. We really appreciate and admire your presence on our platform. And so we are trying to build a bridge between the students and the expert. And we are in primary phase of our journey. And with being able to have experts like you helps us in grow and hit the target that we have set for ourselves. And I truly admire your presence and thank you for your wonderful tips and taking us through the wonderful journey of the world of PR. Thank you once again. And Prakhar bhai, I think
Thank
you
you
can go.
so much, Ujjwal. Pleasure was all mine, and it's a wonderful initiative that you and your team, all you guys together, are doing through this expert forum. And I personally feel that there should be a very good a mentor-mentee kind of a program, like platforms like you guys are doing. It helps the uh, I mean, plethora of aspirants in every field who are there out there and who are looking for some or the other kind of guidance. So it's a wonderful initiative, and heartiest congratulations to you and your team. And I'm wishing you all the very best, that you guys really soar high, and also wishing all the best to all my friends who are listening to me right now. You need any kind of guidance, you need any kind of help. So please do feel free to reach out.
Okay, ma'am, one more thing. Even I have a question for you too.
Yes,
Resham,
please.
you can go first. Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Resham, yes.
No, I was just saying that, ma'am, all my questions have been answered. It was a great session, ma'am. Thank you so much.
I'm glad, Resham, that you really liked it. I'm so thankful to you for attending the session and paying heed to it. I hope I was not boring.
Not at all, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
So, can I go, ma'am? Yeah. Okay, ma'am. So, I'm actually working on a project called Ankaha India. Okay. I'm actually a food and travel blogger. So, I'm actually gonna ask, like, should I give my target audience as being selective? Actually, I'm planning on going after city-wise. Okay. For example, I'm actually staying in Jaipur. Okay. So
Okay.
I'm actually thinking that I should be covering the content of undiscovered content of Jaipur, and after that, I should go and cover all of the Rajasthan. Okay.
Okay.
So after that, I am actually thinking to do this for every city of India. So
Okay.
should I target a selective city or a whole India I can target? I just want to ask that.
Okay. Prakhar, that's quite an interesting field that you have picked up. and food blogging, and I'm sure you are an avid traveler and you must be loving traveling around and exploring a lot of things around you. So since you are wanting to explore more, I would suggest here is do not go too much mass, getting into touch. Uh, if you're looking for influencer bases for you, right? That's what you are looking at. So be selective. I'm not saying be very selective, be selective. There's a difference. So being very selective means that you're just hardly going to be picking up 2 or 3. No, don't do that. This is the point when you are building up your career in blogging or in influencing, you need to have meaty content connectors for you. That's how I would like to frame it for you. Meaty content connectors who are able to generate good content, and you could pick them and you could connect with them and pick up bases or pick up pointers for your own content to develop. So do that. For example, I can suggest you something here. um, like you are doing it, you are in Jaipur right now.
Yes, yes,
So
ma'am.
are you wanting to do it for around Jaipur, or are you wanting to pick up few cities at the moment? How are you planning to do that?
Okay, so actually, I have covered whole Jaipur. Okay, so
Acha.
I'm a
Yeah.
photographer too, so I have covered it all. Okay,
Okay.
so I have covered almost all of the Rajasthan. So I'm actually now targeting the Uttarakhand and Himachal. I have actually several collaborations for that. So then I'm actually thinking that I can start with that too.
Okay.
So that's the only question, that should I be selective or should I can target, whole India together?
Do not target whole India right now, because if you there's this very nice saying, if you try to swallow too much, you will vomit. Don't do that. You are
Okay.
at a nascent stage of your influencer career. Pick up
Mhm.
things one by one. For example, I can suggest you Uttarakhand and the other state that you were talking about, cover that in
Mhm.
the first quarter. Then
Okay.
pick up another 2 cities in the second quarter, another 2 in the third quarter. Put yourself a target of covering 9 cities to 10 cities in 1 year, because the more you try to swallow, you will be all over the place and your content will not be focused. Pick up one theme and write your content, connect with the same kind of content generators and build up on your content. Otherwise, what will happen? Whoever is your consumer will get confused while reading your content. They will say कि Prakar ने last month ये लिखा था, suddenly his focus has changed and now he's writing on this. No, consumers will start losing interest. Don't do
Okay.
that.
Hmm.
That's
So
my suggestion to you.
okay, so
Yeah.
I should go city wise, right?
Go city wise, and that too at a slow pace. Go quarter wise. 2 cities आप टारगेट कीजिए हर क्वार्टर में, उसे बहुत अच्छे से स्टडी कीजिए. Bring up meaty content and the kind of content which the consumers have not seen it before, because
Yes,
you
ma'am, that's
have
what
to
I'm
create.
actually targeting. Yes, yeah, the
Exactly. So
underscored
you,
content.
yeah, the underscore, the undiscovered content which has not, people have not read it, and for that you need time and you need quality work. Or quality work आपका तभी आएगा, you will only get it when you have a focused and a concentrated approach. Otherwise you will lose your focus.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So, as you were saying, like, should I start with the storytelling? That
That is
storytelling
a
could might
very
help
good
in that.
idea. Yes,
Hmm.
like you can start your storytelling that, okay, I'll give you a nice idea here. I hope
Mhm.
others are not getting bored. So,
Sorry, guys.
yeah, yeah. So you can actually bring it on that right from childhood. I used to, go with my dad, explore the mountains. I used to love that. And that's the same thing. When I grow up after 17 years or 18 years, that has come as a personality trait in me. Now, what I like to do. So, first, my stop is that I went to Jaipur. So, something like that, building on. You could pitch in your, childhood stories when you used to travel with your parents. That's how you start building up on a story. And then people will be interested that, okay, He had this instinct right from the childhood. And in the same way, then the followers will start following you, people who have the same stint in them, but they have not been able to realize it. So with your story, they will start connecting with you. That's the power of storytelling.
Yes, ma'am. That's a really great insight. And ma'am, one more thing I'd like to ask. Sorry for that.
No.
Should I go for a sponsored post? Would that be good, or should I do it organically?
Right now, it's too early for you to do sponsored post.
That's what I'm thinking too. But
Because you are very young at your career, very nascent. You will lose your credibility very soon. Don't let that happen. Don't let
so
that
when should
happen.
we
That's
start
my
with the
suggestion
sponsored
to you.
post?
At least give yourself a year. Write organic content, which comes right from your heart and your brain. People love to read organic, and trust me, believe me guys, consumer is very smart. आजकल सबको पता चल जाता है कि कौन सा कंटेंट ऑर्गेनिक है और कौन सा पेड है.
That's true,
People
ma'am.
come to
That's
know.
really true. That's
You
really true.
cannot fool your audience. You cannot fool your customer, and don't even try and do that. That's a tip from my side to all of you guys. Don't even try and do that. Be as original as you can. Yes, I'm not saying ki, don't get sponsored content. No, that's not there. But first, establish your credibility. That's very important. Build up that trust. And then you can go ahead and have sponsored content. That's absolutely fine to do it. That's no worries. But first, build your own content, build your own style, build your own credibility, and connect with your consumer. Build your own followers first. Then reach out for sponsored. Then
Yeah,
yeah.
understood. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time and sharing these
No,
great insights with me.
absolutely. Pleasure is all mine. So it's wonderful interacting with all of you guys. So just in case you have any questions, I'm there.
Yes, ma'am.
You can
Yeah,
always reach out.
we'll definitely ping you. And thank you, Ujjwal, too, for connecting her with us. And
Yeah.
thank you once again, ma'am, from everyone here, from like Sharat sir and Jacqueline, ma'am. Hope
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thanks a
to have
lot.
your
And
next session very soon.
sure, pleasure is all mine. Absolutely. And wishing you all guys a very happy Valentine's Day and a very happy Sunday. Enjoy yourselves. Bye.
Happy weekend to you
Have a
too, ma'am.
nice
Thank you so
evening.
much, ma'am.
Thank
You too, ma'am.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for the session. I'll be sharing the feedback form with you all, so please fill that. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.